JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Friday, December 12th, 9/19 on this fine morning. Really quick rant. Apologies for the voice, still under the weather. Hopefully this weekend clears it up. But talk quick about the market, some names I'm looking at go from there. Futures mixed this morning, NASDAQ and S&P in the red, small caps. Maybe we'll have a similar duplication of yesterday's action where the Dow hit new all-time highs, up 1%. The small caps rallied over 1%. And S&P and NASDAQ were laggards. And NASDAQ, obviously, the weakness in Oracle and some of these other names kind of put some hurting on that, and we'll see if we get duplication here today. Anyway, that's over. Well, yesterday or maybe it's this morning. Times announced their person of the year is the architects of AI. If anybody knows about the Madden cover jinx, I guess there's something similar in regards to the Time magazine. So I don't know if it's on Market Watch. They posted that people in the markets who have been on the cover of Time magazine as person of the year, the performance in their underlying stock that they're in or company they're in have declined the 2 years after. The first year, the average change year over year, let's see, 88% of the time up for the first year. And then as it goes the next year and then the year after, that's when the declines start to happen. We'll see if this is a Madden cover curse here with the architects of AI. Is this the bubble, right? And I'm sure we'll look back a year or 2 years from now and everybody say, oh, it's when they put AI on the cover of Time magazine. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the case. One of the examples was Tesla was Elon Musk was a man of the year in 2021. But again, they use this as a 2 year time frame. So obviously, if you look out, Bezos, IBM, these names have took on. All right, so that's kind of the overall market. We'll see. We've got through the Fed meeting. We got through all Oracle earnings. We got through Broadcom. And Broadcom after the close yesterday, monster beat and raise. I mean, like staggering numbers, right? 75% year over year growth. They think they're going to do somewhere in excess of 100% growth in some of the areas in the next coming quarters. They finally announced one of their mysterious $10 billion customers, Anthropic, and just a lot of those, stories that maybe people thought would be the top continue just massive, right? And you saw the stock gap higher after the earnings, and then the conference call came, and Broadcom went from the 420s all the way down to into the 300s. We'll see how things hold up. Some of it, again, it's a function of it being up 75% year to date. Probably just people using it as an excuse to take profits. So we'll see how today trades out. Hopefully I find some more opportunities. I haven't done much in the last 2 days in regards to trades. And sometimes, I'm not going to try and force things, but hopefully you can find some opportunities here today. So that's kind of the overall market. 679 was the big area on the SPY. We're well above that. Now you look 686 to 689, probably some areas here today. Maybe we get some chop. And then next week, there's not much in the way of catalyst. We do have Micron earnings. I think will be the other name that will kind of steal the show. All right, it's kind of overall markets. Quick on individual names. Deck, the slowest melt to the upside in recorded history since my sarcasm. Frustrating to hold a position on calls when it moves so slow. It's like almost a form of torture. But anyway, the December expiration is getting closer. Any big pull and the premiums are just going to get killed. So I'll probably just lock the last of my 105s in, possibly roll them out to January, though I don't know if I want to subject myself to torture again. But I do like the setup here. And then you start looking at areas, the 200-day moving average right there at 106 and change. So could be a spot there that sees some follow through. So that hopefully maybe I'll just close it out and wait over the weekend. So that's deck. Yesterday, I was watching Oracle all morning. So at first, I had on the watch list, I was going to get some lotto calls. It opened at 192, I think, and then boom, and it flashed down to 186. So thankfully I didn't get calls at the open, and then I was waiting for a bounce. And got up to 192, then back down to 190. It seemed like it couldn't break through. And then finally, after the noon hour, the gains were kind of holding. And instead of it being lower highs and lower lows, it was higher highs, higher lows. Once it started to get going in the afternoon, I was actually looking at the 205s. They were like 50 cents. And then they got up to 75 cents and started to break. I'm like, I don't want to miss this move. So I got those 207.50s. It goes up to 198 and kind of sputters around. It's getting close to the end of the day. I didn't want to be in a spot where Broadcom reports a miss and Oracle gets destroyed again on Friday. So the plan was to be able to lock some in, cover costs, and ride the rest. I wasn't getting that chance. I closed them out. And then sure enough, it breaks over $200. Those 207.50s were up over 100%. But what are you going to do? That was the plan. Anyway, it's down here at 196 in the pre-market. So those 207.50 is going to take it on the chin anyway. So even if I held them into today free, not going to be what I would hope it would be, which would be follow through up to 210. I'll be watching though. If it finds some more support here today, reverses, maybe gets over 200 bucks, might trade those for a lotto. Um, that's Oracle. Same with Broadcom here today too. And it's down, got all the way down to 378 about 6:30 this morning. If it chops around in the 380s and starts to find some footing, I might try some lottos end of day, maybe 395 or so. Solar Edge, lackluster session yesterday, opened in the red, trading around 31 for most of the morning. Then it found a bid into the afternoon, got into the green. 32.50, the big spot here. If it clears over that, might look for some more strikes play for a move to 40. Serve Robotics had news this morning, finally announced their 2000th robot rollout. Just to me, of course, I look at it through the bias or the lens of a bull, right? So I'm extremely bullish Serve Robotics. So to see it announce their 2000th robot roll off the assembly line, like to me, that's huge, right? Because here's a name that's still in its early stages of growth. Who knows if it's ever going to be a successful company? Even at the start of this year, you didn't know, only a couple hundred robots. Now they're up to 2,000. They have a partnership now with Dash. They have the same with Uber, rolling out to different markets. And their scale out, which you would think would be tremendous, going from nothing to 2,000 robots, is behind, or well, you would think any hint that they would be behind schedule and the stock would get destroyed. On the flip side, it's actually ahead of schedule, right? So I think it's all good news. I still boggles my mind how this is not trading substantially higher. Some of it, I guess, maybe is competitive concerns, right? There's a lot of other robotic services out there that are looking to get into this space, but to me, there's no name that has the backdrop of all these partners, right? So straight up here at 13 bucks. I'll still be patient. You still have bears in here, so I don't know, 1375. If that breaks and holds, I'll look to get some strikes there. And Dex over 102 here in the pre-market. Maybe he keeps going. All right. So that's Serve Robotics. Good news there. Yeah. RH reported earnings after the close yesterday, and they actually was a miss. So it sold off at first all the way down to 138, then bounced to 175 after the conference call or during the conference call. It's in here at 163. Depending on premiums today, I might try some lottos. So don't be surprised if I try some lottos for a move to 180 or so. Anyway, that's it, folks. Hopefully my voice gets better, and I'll be back on audio before the close. Let's have a great day. I'll be back. Rock.